do we begin?
Hey, Miesha.
Hi.
Obviously, this fight got postponed a little bit, but I'm curious how you're feeling ahead of this one on Saturday night.
I think it was meant to be, to be honest. I really wanted to fight July 2nd, but once that date was passed, then this has been the only date on my mind. So I was able to actually bring my kids out here to New York. Yeah, and after victory, we're gonna tear up the city a little bit, eat some great food. I'm really excited because I've always wanted to bring my kids to New York. It's one of my favorite places to visit. And if I was going to fight anywhere else other than right in my Las Vegas hometown, it would be here in New York.
Is there also a little bit of silver lining that we sometimes see these fights get pushed off these pay-per-view cards to the Apex where there's no fans? Are you happy that you at least got to bounce right back still with the crowd?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to having the crowd again. I mean, it's been a long time since I fought in front of a crowd. If you think about it, since my retirement fight. So it's been a minute, and I think I'm ready for that. You know, I keep talking about proper progressions. This just feels like another one of those things, you know.
When you look at the fight itself, how are you seeing it playing out? Are you seeing a grueling back and forth? Are you seeing a dominant performance from yourself? How are you seeing this one going on Saturday?
I mean, I really want to make this fight the statement of my career. So I have big plans for this fight, and I'm really excited for Saturday, man, that the finish line is close. I'm glad that it's an early fight. Like, I'll be ready tomorrow. Like, I'm so ready to go. So, yeah.
That's quite a lot of pressure you're putting on yourself to say the statement of your career. You've had such a great career already. What exactly about this fight makes you want to do that?
Well, I'm dropping to flyweight, and I think I was always meant to be here, and I just never had the opportunity. The flyweight division wasn't introduced to the UFC until well after I retired. And this last fight that I was a really narrow decision loss to Ketlin Vieira really kind of prompted me. And I think it was important that I did lose that fight. I'm glad it was a very competitive one, but it was a bit of a sophomore slump, you know. So I think now I'm going to be coming into that. I look at this as like my junior year, and then, you know, you got to win. I got to win this fight, and I believe that will put me in title contention. That's what I'll be calling for.
How is the weight cut going?
It's going great. I'm a professional. You know, I've got a great team around me. I got to give a huge shout out to Training Lab with Sam Calavita, because he's done amazing things with my body, very metabolically efficient, and we're going to make weight no problem.
You mentioned about fighting for the title. It's funny, Valentina also mentioned your name after her last fight. I'm curious about your thoughts on her performance in that fight, a bit of a controversial decision for some people. And is it nice to know that the champion is even calling for you before you've even competed and won?
Yeah, I was very excited to hear her mention my name, you know, because if the champion is saying it, you know, there's going to have some value in it, because she definitely has some pull in whether she goes up to 135 and fights or stays right here at 125. So I want to make that statement, and I want to say that, you know, she has work to be done here in this division. And you asked about her performance. You know, I don't think it was her best one. I know she had an injury, and everybody kind of has those fights that aren't their best ones. But I know what Valentina looks like at her best. She's an animal. She's an absolute beast. And I got to get this fight done with Lauren Murphy. You know, she's ranked inside the top 5. So for me, this is a real treat to enter a division, get a top 5 ranked opponent, and really be able to see in the near future that I think Valentina is on the horizon.
Obviously, I don't want to look past Saturday night, but what would it mean to you not only to win a title again, but in a different division, become a 2-weight world champion? What would that mean to you, specifically that thing?
Yeah, it would be an incredible accomplishment. You know, there's not that many people, I think, that have captured a world title in 2 divisions, and I don't think there's any moms of 2 that have done it. So I always like to break those glass ceilings and set new, you know, precedents for what can be accomplished, and that's a huge goal of mine.
Miesha over here. You know, sometimes we see fighters when they drop down, and we talk to them at media day, and you can kind of tell they look not great. But you seem very like this is going well for you. Would you say that this is, when you came into this drop, like how it's actually played out has exceeded your expectations in terms of your comfort and just the overall process?
Yes, I honestly didn't know exactly what to expect. I always try to look at things with a positive mindset, but in hindsight, I really feel like it couldn't have gone any better. And I also had mentioned, you know, being so I was so upset when I got that call that the fight was not going to happen July 2nd. But since then, I feel like, you know what? Everything's meant to be for a reason, and this is my day, this is my date. When I made my return was July 17th last year. So I just feel like this kind of is coming full circle. You know what I mean? Like I'm making my debut at 125. It's like that next chapter again, right? Exactly 1 year from the comeback, and so that'll continue on Saturday.
Yeah, and I'm sure, when you made this decision, was it just kind of this, strategically because you looked at flyweight and you're like, hey, maybe one win and I can get to a title, or was it because of Juliana winning the title at 135? What was the original motive?
There was a lot of things that's my son. Hi, Dax. Good morning. Oh, I love you. Okay, wait just a minute. I'll be right there, okay? Okay. So there was a lot of things that factored into my decision to go to 125, but mostly the call from Mick Maynard was really what sparked it in my mind. I really never thought of 125. As I mentioned, my whole career, it was never an option, and it wasn't until he said, I think 125, and I said, well, which one's going to get me to the title faster? And he seemed to think that 125 was going to get me faster. And I said, you know what? It makes a lot of sense because Juliana's the title right now, a title holder at 135. This sets me up perfectly. And who wouldn't want to fight Valentina? I mean, with all she's accomplished. And I would have loved to have a rematch with Amanda, but I feel like Juliana getting it done the way she did, I got my fulfillment from that. And now I want to take out the other GOAT.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously you have connections in different ways, both to Amanda and Juliana. They're fighting again. You're pretty confident your buddy there will get it done again?
Yeah, I am confident. I think so. Actually, would you guys mind if I brought Daxton up here?
Oh, go for it.
Babe, can I have him? Come here, Papacito. Papacito lindo. Is that why you're upset? Come. You cutie. Yes, there's my baby. Come. Okay, but you have to be quiet, okay? Okay. Come. All right, well, let's rephrase the question.
I was just curious how confident you are in Juliana getting it done again this time.
Yeah, I mean, the only difference this time is that now the rest of the world knows that she can win this fight too. That's the only difference. She knew it, I knew it, her team knew it. She's done it once before, so now everybody knows.
How special would it be, say 6 months from now, 8 months from now, a year from now, if you guys both were UFC title holders? What would that mean to you?
Well, we'd be putting the W in Washington. That's where we're from, women representing Washington. So, yeah, it would be a huge moment, and I see it. I think that's our destiny.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Miesha, over here. You mentioned before sophomore slump. This is your junior year. You're 3 fights in. This will be your 3rd fight in a year after 5 years away. I'm just wondering, do you feel back into the fight lifestyle and the fighter mentality after this year?
Yeah, I just think it was perfect. I don't regret any of it. Obviously, I really wanted to win that last fight, but those things happen for a reason, So it, like I said, it pushed me, it propelled me to come down to 125, and I really feel like this was my true weight class. For the longest time, I was trying to put on size to be competitive at 135, but I think it robbed me somewhat of my cardio, and I feel like at 125, it's not an issue. I didn't need that extra size. I think it was more of a hindrance to me than anything, so I really feel like the best version of myself is going to be at 125.
Thank you.
Miesha, right here.
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry. Do you want to go eat some food?
Yeah.
Okay, Daddy, go get your food, okay? Go eat your food. Go. Okay.
Yeah, right here. You're obviously a pioneer in women's MMA. Now seeing the new roster of girls like Casey O'Neill, Miranda Maverick, Macy Barber, I just wondered if there's any girl on the roster right now that kind of reminds you of younger Miesha Tate.
Yeah, well, I think Miranda Maverick's style certainly reminds me of myself. However, I feel like Casey O'Neill, I know her the best because she's a teammate of mine, and she's very hard-headed. That reminds me of myself. She's got to learn the hard way, and she's always, she's working so hard in the gym. She's the first one there. She's the last one to leave. She's ultra competitive, and all these things remind me of myself. And I keep telling her, like, hey, slow down a little bit. Recovery matters, And these are all the things, like, I didn't know that at that age either. I thought just more is better, more is more. So I think Casey reminds me a little bit of myself too.
And obviously she's out with a knee injury. What did you say to her when she first got injured? Because I know she took that pretty hard.
Yeah, I called her right away when I found out, and she was definitely bummed, and I just did my best to, console her and remind her that, it's the sport we signed up for. It does happen, unfortunately, but she's young, and, she will come back from it. And I think she's done a beautiful job. She's been in the Performance Institute every day doing her recovery. So, yeah, I'm sure she'll come back no problem. And I think she's maturing a lot. I think this is forcing her to, the forced slowdown. I think it's exactly what she needed. Not the knee injury, but, sometimes training our minds it's just as important, if not more so, than our bodies. We get so focused on, as athletes, on our bodies, what we can do with our bodies. But when our bodies are limited, sometimes we have to force the focus on our minds. And that's an evolution that I have experienced myself, not necessarily through injuries, but just through progressing through my career, becoming a mother, realizing what's the most important, and you got to exercise this. So I think that's what she's focused on doing right now. Anybody else?
You said how you brought your kids to the fight. I saw on your Instagram that it looked like you had a first-time pilot on your trip here. I was wondering how the flight was.
Yes, little Miss Amaya. Oh my gosh, she's back there too, actually. Maya, you want to come up here with mommy? Come on, mamacita. Come. Yes, she flew us here, safe landing, relatively smooth. So this will be the first time that my children are in the audience with me. Yeah, right here. Go up the stairs. So Mama Bear is going to be present. It's not just going to be Miesha the fighter, but it's going to be Miesha the mama. And I absolutely refuse to lose with my two children sitting cage side. So you might be seeing me fighting with a little bit more vengeance than normal.
That was kind of one of my questions. Is I've spoken to a lot of men, and they said having kids really changed them. Kind of softened them or took away some of that killer instinct. Is that something you experienced as well?
Did you say soften them?
Softens you. You don't. Yeah. You're not trying to hurt people as much as you maybe were when you first started fighting.
That's a great question, actually. It definitely changes me, but it's more my mental and emotional outlook towards people. I don't have a desire to have I don't need a nemesis. I don't need to wish people, ill will, or have these, for lack of a better term, rivalries. I wish everybody well, but no, I don't think, the fighting part, that's what we sign up for. So, I'm going to try to destroy Lauren Murphy. I'm going to try to throw her head off her shoulders, if I can at any opportunity. I will take that, because these children of mine, this is who I'm trying to provide for, and I see her as a block to that. You know what I mean? That she's trying to take something away from not just me, but my children. So I feel like I fight much more fiercely than ever before.
Okay, and then last one from me. Obviously, you're a pioneer for women's MMA. You're one of the biggest names in combat sports, especially women's combat sports. Have you ever trained with Lauren Murphy or Valentina? Because obviously those are the two names that are in your stratosphere right now. Have you ever trained with either one or had any personal interactions with them?
I have trained with Lauren Murphy. When she was on The Ultimate Fighter, she came over, she switched the team, so she became part of our team. And I trained a little bit with her there, mostly grappling. She's a solid grappler. She definitely has her fundamentals down. I don't think she's the most creative martial artist out there. So, but basics win fights, and that's really the she's a perfect example of that. She keeps everything very basic and simple, but she's got those things down pat. So I know that I need to challenge her beyond basics, which I know I have the ability to do. And I've never trained with Valentina, so I can't comment on her.
What about personal interactions? Obviously, I'm sure you're such a figurehead for women's MMA. Have you ever met Valentina, had conversations with her, anything like that?
I have, and we just ran into each other maybe about a month ago at the Performance Institute. It was before her fight, right before she left to Singapore, and she was nice. It was kind of like, she said something along the lines of like, now it's okay, to be nice. Maybe in the future on fight week, that will be different. Something, I'm paraphrasing, but I said, yeah, absolutely. Nothing but respect and love outside of it, but fight time comes. And it was comforting to me because I think it meant that she definitely sees me as a future opponent.
So you've sized her up. You think Miesha Tate's the one to beat Valentina?
I know it.
Thank you.
All right. Ready? Want to say bye?
Bye.